Yo guys, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing the Venthyr Rogue guide. I also do community posts, so make sure you check those out. I usually do video idea posts, so if you're interested in seeing something, even if it's not up there, you can always comment if you want to see something. I also do have my own website, and if you click that link and you go buy something using, the link to get to Amazon, I do get a percentage. So if you ever are going to buy something, or if you want to buy a headset or a mic or a keyboard or a mouse, I have all four of those items in the description. The best ones for WoW, and this will enhance your gameplay. I'm actually going to be getting the mouse soon and the mic very soon, so it'll help the stream and the YouTube. So what we're going to be talking about today is the Venthyr Rogue one shot, which I'll show it right here. And as you can see, it's just unhealable damage. You're basically killing something in about 4 to 5 seconds, and there's not much they can do about it. So first we're going to be talking about the conduits. You want to be the Venthyr and you want to be Theodore. Now, I don't really see the other ones going in much play here, but I rock Theodore, and what you're going to be going is Rust setup, obviously, for the stun gaps. You don't want to be not have this and have the stuns just be 50% of your energy. You want to go with Lashing Scars. This is another main ability that you need. Now, mine's 478. I don't know how good this build is or how good this one shot is when you have no gear, so make sure you at least have 2100 gear if you're trying this. Maybe like 1950, 1800 gear could work, but don't go in there with no gear and try it, and it just won't work. So, Cloaked in the Shadows is your next go-to. Everyone knows this. Now, with the Prepared for All, now you really need to go down this list, and honestly, I just went with the Prepared for All because, it gets back your evasion. So, you know, I think it's not terrible. And also, like, if you evasion, once they're hitting you, you can get back evasion pretty fast, which is a valuable cooldown. Now you could switch it for I think maybe you could go one of these, but you have to go this because when you flag, it gives you verse. So yeah, I would just go with the Prepare for All. And Deeper Daggers will make you do more damage. Now I'm not running, as you can see, I'm not running Symbols of Death, which or Planned Executions. I meant I'm not running it, which will actually make you do more damage. So, but there's no really option to go that way. You'd have to lose out on the verse, and it's just not worth it at that point. So deeper daggers and then quick decisions will allow you to step super far away. As you can see, I can go all the way to like here and step him instead of like here, which is pretty insane. So that is your conduits, pretty basic. Hasn't really changed much in the last couple expansions. We're going to be going with the legendaries now. So with your legendary items, you're going to be going with the Unity, which is, the Rogue, Sub-Rogue Unity, which is flag, just the Unity for Venthyr. Then you're going to be going with Marked for the 100% crit for 2 seconds. Now, this is okay. I think this is the best option. Now you can run. There's another one that you can run that's somewhere in here. Right here. Vanish grants 5 combo points and increases all damage dealt by 20% for 15 seconds. Now, I haven't actually tried this out myself. I think the Mark of the Assassin is more bursty damage, but this could be really good for like a consistent build. Let's say you were like playing with like a healer or something and you were just testing it out. This could be good for like a consistent type of build maybe. But yeah, I definitely go with Mark of the Assassins. That's what I run here. And now we're going to be going with the stat line. You want to be going mastery, verse, and then crit as third stat. Now you can go full mastery instead of verse. Like I can go all my gems to mastery here, as you can see, and I'll have like 80% mastery. But then you lose out, and you're basically a glass cannon at that point. So I don't go too much mastery. I'd usually go verse gems and then go mastery gear. And I do use the verse mastery ring, the one with the more mastery, so you're getting a lot more mastery in it. And then I also use the fist weapon because it's a mastery weapon. Obviously, the tier set you want that, and that's basically the stats. You're just going for first mastery and then crit for your third stat because you kind of get crit whenever stealth and come out of stealth, as you can see. And now for your gear, it really doesn't change. You want to be using the badge. This will make sure your build does a lot more damage. And that's basically all the gears really everyone knows is his first mastery gear. Maybe go with some crit gear on the side. I have a haste one here, but just tier set wise. And basically all you're going to be doing is that's you can either go between the badge trinket or you can go resonator. If you don't have the badge, the resonator is the second best option. It'll still make you do a lot of damage. Now, I think the badge is probably better for the actual damage wise, but for just like a big crit damage, like where they go from 100 to 0 in about, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, I think, the resonator trinket is not bad at all. Now we're going to be talking about the macros to the build, and then we'll go on to the rotation. So the macros here involve the burst window, which is your full burst. As you can see, this clicks every one of your buttons. As you can see, I have both trinkets on there, but it doesn't really matter. But you basically just want this trinket. You don't want this one other one. That one's old because I used this last season. So this is the perfect thing. Obviously, the fire e-source is this right here, so the little wind that comes out, it doesn't really do, or the smoke, so you don't really need to put that in there if you don't have it. And basically, that is your burst macro. Now, you have a symbols macro, which will use your racial, shadow dance, and symbols. Now, I put my racial in there so you can get that extra touch of damage. Now, you can put the badge trinket in there because its badge trinket's 1 minute. So, if you're going to go for an opener, you use the badge trinket on your mini go, and then you wait a minute, and then you go again. Now, I don't do that because there's a lot of situations where as soon as the DR comes off, I'm going in and I'm going for the kill because there's a lot of times we get a lot of cooldowns. And that's basically all the macros I use. I don't really run a one-shot macro to where you're just clicking the one button like now those are the only two macros I use. Now you can use blind macros. Like I said, I'm going to be getting the mouse I have in the description, which has the buttons. And then I'm also buying my new key. I'm buying everything in that description. I'll be buying it because it'll help me by a mile. Because the keyboard is such a nice keyboard to where I can, because my finger's really long, right? And those are really neat. The one I have is probably about 2010. So not hashtag ad, but it is hashtag ad. So at the same time, I'm promoting it, but I'm also getting it. So okay, so now we're going to be going with the rotation like everyone wants to. I'm trying to make this kind of short. I don't want to be spending, 30 minutes on the guide. I know you guys just want to get to the certain point. Now for the rotation, you want to be using Mark for Death as a damage ability. Now I'll show it in variations so you guys know like a situational type. Now, as you can see, we're going to kidney, use our burst macro, Venthyr, and then we're going to Shadow Strike. Now, this is what I do. So I do Shadow Strike, Vanish, Eviscerate, Mark for Death, Eviscerate. So this is what I do here, as you can see. So I use my burst macro, Venthyr, Shadow Strike, Vanish, Eviscerate, Mark for Death, Eviscerate, and then I Shadow Strike, Eviscerate. And as you can see there, about 50k a second, hitting pretty big Venthyr abilities. It's mainly about your flag. As you can see, my flag did 50k damage in under, the 3.5 seconds of crit. So as you can see, it's a very powerful build. Now, what I could also have done is instead of using the eviscerate there, what I could have done is I could have shadow striked, right? I could have shadow striked again, and then I could have vanished, eviscerate, mark for death, eviscerate for the extra combo points. Now it's all situational type. Now, if they do trinket the kidney, let's say they have trinket and just your last go, I would just go for the shadow strike and then go for instantly the vanish, eviscerate, mark for death, eviscerate instead of going for the extra shadow strike because that extra time of getting the shadow strike and he already trinketed, you're just not gonna have a chance. Make sure you're having shadowy duel too because they can't vanish your shadowy duel, which is the best thing, so they have nothing to get away from you. So even if they have trinket, as you can see, you can just, they can't vanish you, and if they do, you can just sap them, so they don't have a chance of getting in the way. So, I'm gonna show that once more, and then we're gonna go on to the mini setup, and I'll see you guys whenever my cooldowns are back. Alrighty, we're back. For you guys, I just teleported, so now I got my cooldown back. As you can see, same thing we're going to be doing is we're going to Shadow Strike, we're going to Shadow Strike Shiv to get our 5 combo points. Actually, this time we're going to show the non we're gonna use Mark for Death as a Kenny this time. So what we're gonna be doing here is instead of wasting people's time and showing it again, you can just rewatch it. This will be with the Mark for Death. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna Kenny, same rotation. You're gonna Venthyr, Shadow Strike, Vanish, Eviscerate, Shadow Strike, and then you're gonna restun obviously, and then Eviscerate, and then restun again, and then Eviscerate. So as you can see, when you don't do the Kenny rotation, as you can see, I only did 30k a second. So using not having that Mark for Death Eviscerate for the Vanish is kind of bad. So you really want to only use Mark for Death if you have to. Like some situations, I'm at like 2%, and if I don't go, I'm dead. So you definitely, if you have to use it, then just do it like that. Obviously, make sure you restun. I wasn't really you know, looking at it, I was more like looking at my rotation. I usually don't even, I just like click the buttons and it says memorize, so I gotta make sure I'm not clicking something randomly. Now, this will be the mini go here. So what your mini go is gonna look like is you're basically to get cooldowns is what you're gonna do is what I do usually is it doesn't really matter if you mark for death. Now, usually what I do is I end up getting combo points right, so I get my combo points and then I Kenny and then I use my mini go, I'm just gonna do this, and you're basically just doing a mini go, which is you're trying to get as much damage as possible. You're basically relying on your teammate. You're just stunning and using your symbols, and you're relying on your teammate just to pop all of his damage, so you get cooldowns, and that's basically what you're doing. Now, if you're facing anything like a Ret or a Shadow Priest or anything that can use two cooldowns or a cooldown in Sun, you gotta get that cooldown. So Warlocks, you'd have to get double wall and a trinket. Reds, you'd have to get trinket and then bubble or bop. So classes like that can be a really challenge. You definitely have to go more than one time. And basically for your mini go, you're just gonna be Shadow Strike and get your 5 combo points, and then you're gonna Kenny, mini go, Shadow Strike, Eviscerate, Mark for Death, Eviscerate, Shadow Strike, restun, Eviscerate, restun, and then Eviscerate again. And that's how you're going to be getting cooldowns. And you can just keep doing that until you get the cooldowns. But then as soon as your go's done, you're just trying to get out of there. You're trying to door shadows. You're trying to step to your teammate. You're just trying to get away so you can get a re-stealth. You never want to just be sitting out there like an outlaw rogue. So you just want to get away as fast as you can. Because really, if you can get your combo points, so if you can get your combo points like this, and then you can get a re-stealth, and you get the extra crit, so you get the extra 2 seconds. So as you can see here, I got the 5 combo points, so I can do the same thing. I'm gonna Kenny, make sure you're 1v1, and then I also cloak. So I use everything. As you can, this is what it looks like. Kenny 1v1 cloak, and you're basically just doing this. This is how it's gonna look. Obviously with vanish, but I didn't even click it. So make sure you click your 1v1 as soon as you stun, and then your cloak as soon as you stun. You're basically clicking, you can honestly, you can probably even use your cloak in your burst macro. Now I wouldn't, but if you're just like, if you're having a little trick, if you're having a rough time clicking, your burst damage 1v1, cloak, all of that stuff, you could probably just macro it, or macro like shadowy duel and cloak together. But I don't. So yeah, make sure if there's ever another person, now if it's just one person, if there's a 1v1, you don't have to click cloak. But if there's like two people, I'd always cloak because they can CC you through the shadowy duel. They can blind you through it, fear you through it, all of that stuff. So it's basically it's the same thing as it always was. I'll show it one more time with the setup here, and we're gonna call it a one, and then you guys can message what I said wrong and all that good stuff. Obviously, I'm actually a little bit sick right now, so I don't even know. That's why I'm a little slow in the head right now. So I honestly could have said some shit so that was wrong. I could have said some stuff that was not correct, but what we're gonna be doing is we got our combo points. So I'm gonna not stealth here. I'm going to Kenny 1v1 Shadow Cloak, and then basically just do this. And then we're gonna restun. You can restun again and then eviscerate. Your goal though is to basically keep them in a stun, but you're still trying to pump. But you want to vanish. If you look at your crit, so you're gonna when you burst. So look, I burst here. You're gonna click. Make sure you click your, you have your trinket in there and you hold it down, and then you're going to Venthyr, Shadow Strike, Vanish, Eviscerate, Mark for Death, Eviscerate, Restun. You got to do it really quick, because if you space the stun and they get like a blind off you and you have no trinket, they'll live. So make sure you do it really quick. Now, if you guys have any questions, any rotation tips that I did wrong, um, feel free to comment. Obviously, I've done a lot of Venthyr Rogue guides, so you can also look at my past ones and see what the difference is. You can do all that good stuff. But if you're using the resonator, you're just gonna use your resonator as soon as you open. It's basically the same thing as, instead of you basically go open with the kidney, you're gonna resonator there, and then you're basically just gonna do your rotation like you normally would, and it's the same thing. You're just putting resonator as soon as you kidney. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this little guide. If you have any questions, obviously I'm making videos per day, so the edits aren't gonna be crazy, and I can't really spend 4 to 5 hours on a video because clearly when you're doing a video every single day, you just gotta do the best I can and get it out there. See if you guys can enjoy it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. If you do, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Also, make sure to look at my channel. I also have my PayPal linked in the description. Make sure you join the Discord. Check out the Twitch. We got a lot of stuff happening. But if you would like to donate, I have a PayPal and I do have a website. So if you guys would check it out, buy something. It also helps me grow, and eventually we'll be able to do this for full time, and I'll be able to start streaming. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Peace, peace.